Habari gani, Kuchagulia. Hi everyone, happy Kwanzaa again. Today is the second day of Kwanzaa and it is the principle Kuchagulia, which means to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves instead of being defined, named, created for, and spoken for by others. And I wrote it on the little whiteboard, which is probably backwards on the video, but it says Habari gani, which means what's the news, and the response is Kuchagulia, self-determination. So you'll notice that I'm in a different space. I didn't have enough time to make a video at home, so I am making it at the store because I have to run the store today. So I am going to be sharing with you some things today, and I will be posting more links below. So the first link I'm going to be posting is, of course, to my Pan-African Zazzle store. The next link that I am going to be posting is to a Black-owned business. I will also be showing you the book for the day, the ancestors for the day, and then we will get into the topic and your task for the day of Kuchagulia. So before I start, like we did yesterday, I'm going to be doing a libation statement. I do not have a plant, nor do I have a beautiful cup, but I do have a water bottle, so we'll have to make do. So, libation statement is a way to honor our ancestors. We pour the water to the ground or in a plant to symbolize that we are giving to the earth, because the earth gives so much to us. We will call on the names of our ancestors and we will say Ashe, or so be it, or Amen. So I will call on the names of my ancestors throughout history and in my family, and you can say yours with me as well. So Granny, Grandma Lavinia, Mamie Bradley, Coretta Scott King, Yoki King, Denmark VZ, Phyllis Wheatley, Mary Ann Shad Carey, Ashe, Ya Asantewa, Queen Candace, Langston Hughes, County Cullen, Claude McKay, Ashe, Malcolm X, Josephine Baker, Dorothy, Ashe, Grandma Dorothy, Aunt Shug, Ashe. And for the hundreds and thousands of Africans whose names we'll never know because they lost their lives in the Great Ma'afa, we remember them now, Ashe. And with this we say the ancestors are pleased. So today's Black business shout out is to an organization in St. Louis. I'm trying to do all like St. Louis based organizations, to show back to my community. So this organization is called Sabayet. I mentioned in the other video that I was in a writing group for a couple of years, and it was for children of African descent. So when we moved from one building to find a new place to have our classes, we ended up using Sabayet. So they're very good in preserving the history of people of African descent. They go on trips and they help us to organize different things to keep our heritage alive. So I'm going to post a link down below in this video so you can donate to them or learn more about this organization. The ancestral shout out for the day is to Black women. So I have made a whole slideshow at the end of this video, which is a tribute to Black women. You will see all types of Black women in there, women of different religions, women of different backgrounds. I'm trying to fit every type of Black woman that I can think of as a way to honor them in this slideshow at the end of this video. Also related to Black women is the featured book of the day, which is written by a St. Louis author named Naj Kamal, and it is 5 Arguments Why Black Women Should Be Worshipped, a short study in beauty and grace. I got this book in 2011 because he had a telephone conference that would meet every Sunday, and there'd be about 7 Black women, including myself, and we would just talk about history and being a woman and just all different subject matters. So since he respects Black women very deeply, I wanted to feature his book today. So now I will get into the topic for the day, which is Kuchagulia, and I have my notes right here. So Kuchagulia is self-determination, defining yourself, naming yourself, creating for yourself, and speaking for yourself, instead of being defined, named, created for, and spoken for by others. This principle can be used with more than one person, but you can also use it for your own personal development. This principle is important to people of African descent in general because the world has tried to define us in whatever way they wanted to define us, and usually it was not something that was to our benefit. So now, since then, we have, I guess, had a challenge defining ourselves as an entire unit. Because if you speak to different Black people, you will get, I guess, several different definitions of who they are. Like, you can ask somebody who is of African descent, what are you? They'll be like, I am a Moor. I am an Israelite. I am a queen. I am this. No, I am Christian. I am Muslim. Or me, I'm Kiara. Like, you'll get a different definition every single time. Even with something like the N-word. Me personally, I don't say the N-word. I don't like the N-word. I don't find it endearing. I don't call other people, other Black people, the N-word, no matter how angry I am at them. Whereas you have others who embrace the N-word. They think they can give it a new meaning, and that is how they operate in life. For them, it is a term of endearment. For them, it is taking a negative word and transmuting it into a word of power. That is basically what self-definition is. What do you call yourself that empowers you? What can we call ourselves as a people that will empower us? I don't think there can just be one name for us because we are so complex that one name is not suitable enough. It's just like when you have various religions that have at least like 72 names for God, or 72, I guess, prayers for God, or God in all sorts of different forms. God might be called Yemeya, God might be called Oshun, God might be called Shango. Like, I feel the same way about how we define ourselves. I don't feel that just one term defines all of us. I know there's some people that still use terms that we don't even use anymore. When I was in college, I had a friend, it was a white girl, we were friends, and she was from, I guess, Texas, and she said something. We were talking, and during our conversation, she said, but what do I call the coloreds? And I had to look at, I was like, wait, what? She said, what do I call the coloreds? Sometimes when somebody says something, you got to look into their eyes to see if they're actually joking, to see what their intention is. But when I looked into her eyes, it was like, in her mind, she didn't think it was offensive. I guess she had just been saying it all of her life. So I'm like, we're not called coloreds, you know, we don't embrace that term anymore. But after that, I did meet Black people who embrace the term colored. They're like, yeah, I am colored. I got color on my skin. I got color in my eyes. I got my melanin popping. I got color in my hair. So it really all depends on the person because, like I said, all of us are different people. Even though we are connected genetically, we are all different people and we will all define ourselves in a different way. I knew a woman from the conference, the one that this guy had. Her name was Energy. She didn't want to be called by her legal name. She did not want to be called Goddess, and she did not want to be called Queen either, because she felt all of these other terms were limiting. She felt that Energy was the closest name that she could get to freedom and expression of herself. A name is a very, 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 very powerful thing. It's just like the tale Rumpelstiltskin. He wasn't defeated until the woman found out his name. You know, some cultures, they have 7 different names. Your name will change throughout your lifespan depending on what you have achieved or have not achieved in this lifetime. But the importance of it is we had to fight to name ourselves because, as I said, other people were defining us. That's why you had all of these black newspapers that came up near the turn of the century, before the turn of the century, because you would read stories about lynchings and it was told by someone with a racist perspective, and they would be calling the person who was lynched savage, beast, creature, and they were just an innocent lynching victim. You know, I don't like Mark Twain. One of the reasons I don't like Mark Twain was because he called a black musician named Blind Tom savage several times in a review about his piano playing. And I didn't like that, you know? So at the end of the day, we collectively cannot just agree on one term. You have to find the term that is right for you. Whatever name that you feel gives you power, strength, happiness, joy, that is the name that you should use for yourself. Don't use any names that make you feel bad, that make you demean yourself. Because whatever you call yourself, that's self-talk all of the time. I don't choose to call myself the N-word because in my mind, the N-word is not empowering. It is disempowering. It makes me angry, and I feel it has negativity linked to it. That is why I don't use it for myself. Some people don't even like to use the word black. But when that song, I'm Black and I'm Proud, came out, it really gave people a lot of confidence, because during that time they were called colored, Negro, other different things. So that is my lesson for today. The task that I would like for you to do today is to sit down and think about a name that you can call yourself, or if you're already using it, use it again. A name that you can call yourself that builds up your soul. A name that you can call yourself that gives you personal power. If you can find that name, I would like you to use it as often as you can, whether it is to other people or whether it is in secret. So now I will present this slideshow, and everybody have a happy Kuchagulia. Bye-bye.